Welcome, guys. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Owen James, and this is all your latest Rangers news. Look, it looks like Dave King is set to be rejected by the Rangers board in his offer to return as chairman, as the Park family continue to drag this club down. Look, as far as I'm concerned, the sooner the Park family are out of this club, the sooner that Douglas and his accursed son Graham are gone from this club, the better. And more. I've likened them to a virus. They really are an absolute disgrace, the Park family. The sooner they're gone, the better. Also, news about Hamza Igamane as well, about how he could be the future of Rangers attacking talent. I've had some interesting discussions with some Rangers fans online, clearly who know absolutely jack all about football. Also, some news about the Europa League possible prize fund as well. Now, whilst obviously the Europa League doesn't carry the same funds as the Champions League, and missing out on the Champions League, is still huge. He's still absolutely massive, and it does hand Celtic a huge advantage. There's still a bit of prize money there that could deaden the blow just slightly when it comes to the Europa League. We've got some news on possible Europa League prize money for Rangers. Obviously, that doesn't begin this week. Champions League does begin this week. The Europa League doesn't. But let's start off with the news about Dave King. Now, we brought you news yesterday on the channel about the possible return of Dave King to the club. Now, Dave King said that he was ready to return to the club. He said he was ready to bring a stability, a direction to the club, to get people into key positions, to get people ready to take this club back into a positive forward motion. Excuse me, as things stand on the 17th of September, we are without a CEO, we are without a chairman, we are without a director of academy, we are without a sporting director, we are without major investment. We are clearly not only financially light years behind Celtic, but in terms of organisation, in terms of business direction, in terms of future planning, we are again light years behind our city rivals, which is not the way we want to be. Now, Dave King spoke very eloquently about his desire to return to the club, his desire to give this club back a purpose, give this club back a direction. Yet it appears that our board, yes, that board that have made so many brilliant decisions, sarcasm, are ready to reject Dave King. Now, look, I've got to be honest with you. This present Rangers board are an absolute joke. Obviously, John Bennett is gone now, and no matter what you think of Bennett, and he did obviously invest money into the club, but some of the decisions he's taken, some of the organisation that he has undertaken has not been very good indeed. But the likes of obviously the Park family, the Park family, I think, are a major curse on this club and really do need to be, chased out of the club. They really do need to be gone. Obviously, Douglas Park stood down as chairman, but his son Graham is still on the board. And, Graham Park, who certainly reminds me of Trigger, probably with the same intelligence as well, do need to be gone from this board. They are, holding Rangers back. Looks like the board will reject Dave King's offer. Now, apparently, they are happy for John Gilligan to step up and be interim chairman as they seek to find a new chairman. Now, obviously, King exited the club in 2020 at the start of the COVID pandemic. Now, no matter what you think of what went on during the COVID pandemic, about obviously the lockdowns, the business problems, a lot of businesses suffered during the pandemic, and a lot of people suffered as well during the pandemic. No matter what you think of the government's handling of it or whatever, we're not here to discuss politics here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. But, Dave King took a decision to go back to South Africa and protect his South African business, which, look, at the end of the day, you've got to kind of say that, he's within his rights to protect his income, to protect his livelihood, to look after his family. That's what we'd all do in that situation. But it appears that certain people, Park and Taylor amongst them, have not forgiven Dave King for that. And for that reason, and that reason alone, will block his return to the club. Petty, yes. Pathetic, certainly. So King, it looks like, will be blocked by the Rangers board from returning as chairman, despite the fact that obviously King has 15% of the Rangers shares and is the majority shareholder in the club. Still not enough, obviously, to have a controlling interest. Look, I mean, no matter what you think of Dave King, no matter what you think of that, he's promised to do what he said he would do in terms of, getting key people into the executive roles, getting direction, bringing in new investment to the club are all very positive. Certainly this present board and the likes of, obviously, of Graham Park, who is just an absolute joke, and Douglas Park, who is an even bigger joke, is just, the direction is just not there. They're holding this club back, and they've held this club back for so long now. The Park family are, largely responsible, along with obviously the likes of Stuart Robertson and John Bennett, for the disaster of our failure to sort of capitalise on 55. The failure to back the manager, the failure to back Steven Gerrard in the transfer market, to go on and, I think, turn Rangers into a team that goes on to win title after title post 55 and allows Celtic back up off the canvas. I think the Park family have an awful lot to answer for. So it does look like, obviously, that Park will block the return, along with his cronies on the board, of Dave King. Now, according to reports in a number of media sources today, Rangers will continue their search for a CEO, a chairman, over the next few weeks, and have drawn up a list with a bunch of headhunters, a City firm, looking for the replacement. Now, look, I mean, my personal opinion is the sooner someone comes in as CEO, the better. And I think one of the key things that's got to happen with that CEO, as I said on a number of occasions, he needs to be left alone to get on with his job. The least possible say this present board have him running this club, the better for this club. I think, the present board and the Park family have shown that they are not fit to run this club. They are not, they have not got the interest of the fans. They've not got the interest of the team at heart. And they are an absolute disgrace to Rangers. So, this certainly is a rejection of Dave King, for me, is the wrong one. Certainly this, the way the Park family are directing this club, along with their cronies on the board, is completely wrong. They have a lot to answer for in the situation that we currently find ourselves in. They are, in no short of word of a term, an absolute, complete and utter disgrace to our club. Guys, let me know what you think, obviously, of this rejection of Dave King's offer. Let me know what you think of the Park family. Obviously, if you disagree, feel free, but obviously keep it constructive. Right, let's turn it on to Hamza Igamane. Now, I had an interesting discussion with someone last night who said that Dessers was by far the better player on Sunday against Dundee United because he assisted one goal. I thought Dessers was absolutely awful, to be honest with you, on Sunday. I thought, the ratings that I've seen for him, 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10, which I thought was a little very generous. I mean, I'd give him 2 out of 10 for his performance on Sunday. I mean, the assist gets him the 2. Other than that, he was absolutely shocking yet again. Building on, obviously, his awful performance against Celtic. Now, Hamza Igamane, for me, showed a number of touches, a number of moments of class, a number of moments where we saw not only the technical skill and the ability in this boy, but the talent he clearly has. Now, one of the things that we've kind of really lacked, really called out for over recent weeks and recent games, is the ability to hold the ball up, to link the play, to bring others into the game, and to give us a way to get out. I think one of the things that, when you play one up front and you want to break out and you want to attack, you've got to have a forward that is capable of, bringing others into play, capable of holding the ball up. And Hamza Igamane did that very, very well on Sunday. I mean, there was one moment where the ball is smashed up to him, and he brings it down to his chest. He turns, and his first intention is to play a beautiful through ball to Tom Lawrence, who should really go on and score. But a fabulous piece of play. There's a number of times, if you go back and you watch the time that Igman was on the pitch as a centre forward, his first game really as a centre forward, as an out-and-out forward. I know he played against Celtic, but that was on the left wing, where he holds the ball up so well. He brings others into play. And, this comments from some Rangers fans just utterly bemuses me. But he didn't score a goal. He didn't assist anybody. Dessers got 1 assist. I mean, really does show that, those people know, precisely nothing about football. Igman showed in the 20 minutes, half an hour he was on, so much more than Dessers has shown in all the games this season. He showed what was missing against Dinamo Kiev, that ability to get out, that ability to hold the play up, to link the play, to bring others in. Something that this system that really needs to work. Now, Clement, I think wants that type of forward, that ability to bring others into play, the ability to link play, to bring the 10 into play. And I think Igman really did show that on Sunday. Now, the goals, I think, will come. I think the assists will come as well with him. And there was moments as well where he gets the ball and he runs at the opposition. He takes out 2-3 players, and not only has he got the skill to go past them, but also the physical strength as well. And I think what was really interesting for me as well was the post-match comments from Philippe Clement, where he talked about he talked about Hamza Igamane. He talked about the fact that that in a year's time we wouldn't have been able to afford Igman, that he is that rare a talent. So I certainly echo those sentiments of our manager. Igman did look absolutely spot on. He looked class. He had a touch, a class, and look, I know it's only a limited sample size, and I get that 100%. But when you watch a player and you just look at what he does, you look at how he plays the game, you look at how he brings others into play, and you can kind of tell from those little moments the type of player that he is. I was someone who has coached at, yes, only at a youth level, and has scouted as well. Excuse me. You look for certain key things in players to see a specialness about that player, to see a talent about that player, to see something that stands that player out from the ordinary. And Hamza Igamane, to me, stands out. He's got a technical ability. He's got a strength. He's got a fitness. He's got a physical ability. The ability that we look for in centre forwards, not in the pace and the aggression to attack the opposition, but also to hold the ball up, to bring others in. He's clearly got that, something Cyril Dessers does not have. You've only got to look at Dessers to see how the ball continually bounces off him, how he fails to hold the play up, how he fails to help Rangers get out. We'll talk about the lack of service, but when the ball goes up to him, one of the things that he needs to do is hold the ball up, and Dessers doesn't do that. 9 times out of 10, he loses possession. I've been a quite vocal critic of Cyril Dessers, and I stand by my criticisms of him. As a coach myself, like I said, not a top level coach. I understand that. Look, I've only coached at youth level, but he isn't, a top class player. He isn't someone who is going to win you a league. He isn't someone who is going to make a difference. He doesn't possess the raw skills of a quality centre forward. He is a backup player. That's all he really is. A third choice centre forward. That's the type of player that Cyril Dessers is. Hamza Igamane, to me, represents the future. He represents a talent, a quality, just something special that we need to turn the corner, to really start to challenge our city rivals. And Igman, to me, has that quality. Guys, let me know your thoughts, your opinions on that, and your thoughts and opinions on our Hamza. Right, let's move it along a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about prize money. Now, obviously, Rangers disappointed, obviously, not to qualify for the Champions League. We're obviously back in the Europa League. I'm personally very sick about this. I would have much rather been the Champions League. I think I've said on a number of occasions, I think people miss the point, that Europe is not about competing this season. Europe is not about a cup run. It's not about getting to a final or trying to get to a final. Because, realistically, even in the Europa League, Rangers have zero chance of getting to a final. We've got a tough draw. The likes of Manchester United, the likes of Atletico Bilbao, the likes of Tottenham Hotspur are more favourites to me to win the competition than we are, and to certainly reach a final. You've only got to look at the amount of money that Manchester United have invested this summer in players. However, look, whilst we're going to miss out on that huge bumper payday in the Champions League, which I do think has affected the rebuild and has affected the number of players we've been able to sign. I think had we qualified for the Champions League, we would have seen a very different end to the window, a very much more active end to the window with the money that Champions League would have guaranteed. Now, a football finance expert, a guy called Dan Plumley, has been talking about Rangers, about the amount of money they could earn from the Europa League. Now, the Europa League gets underway next week. Rangers have a trip to Malmo, a game that we really need to be winning and getting off to a winning start. Those first 3 games are the games we need to sort of lay down the marker and get these wins under our belts to stand a chance of qualifying, given the fact we have the likes, obviously, of Manchester United and Tottenham coming up. English teams notoriously very tough given their massive budgets. Now, Dan Plumley spoke about the amount of money that Rangers could earn. Now, he said that the prize money could range anything from 14.4 to 16.9 million in the Europa League, which is obviously substantially under what you can earn in the Champions League. Plumley spoke about this, and he says there are conservative estimates for Rangers here. But if you look at the way the prize money is distributed and positioned, if you look at the group stage, the big league format of, the Europa League, equivalently Champions League, and the way it's been organised, Rangers could potentially net around 14.4 to 16.9 million pounds. The top end of that obviously is dependent on performances in the league, because it's linked to wins, draws, and picking up bonuses for on-pitch performances. So obviously Rangers do need to be successful. They need to win a lot of games. So 16.9 million does rely on a number of victories. He talked as well about this. He said, but if you look at their position in the rankings at the minute against other clubs that in that competition linked to the TV pot, if you look at the fixed fee for participation, Rangers' place in the dynamic of clubs conservatively, they're looking at £14.4 million minimum as prize money. It's stretched out the top end to 16.9. If you can win some games, then of course you've got additional ticket revenue for the home fixtures. As we're talking, the sums on offer are still far below what you earn in the Champions League. But the increase in windfall in the Europa League will certainly benefit Rangers. If you can get through to the knockout stages, you can generate even more prize money further down the line. And this is positive news. Like I said, it would be better to be in the Champions League. You would obviously get a substantial much more money for that. I think it's 30 million basic. So even, progressing and getting 16.9, you're still way under what you get in the Champions League. But even 14.4 million would be useful revenue for Rangers to bring in, that we could put into team redevelopment, into this rebuild in January, and then obviously next summer as well. The club are in a position where we do need to sort of access external revenue streams like the Europa League, like European football competition, as well as obviously looking at a CEO coming in and bringing in more sponsorship deals, more financially lucrative deals to get this club moving forward. But certainly positive news that we could earn between 14.4 and 16.9 million for the Europa League. Hopefully the board, though, as we know, the board are not great, do reinvest this in the playing squad. Right, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in today's video. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please obviously smash the sub. Helps obviously to grow the channel. We are on over 6,500 subscribers now. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for your amazing support. On the way out, drop me a comment, smash the like, and remember always, we are the people.